No. Yeah, but they were saying last night on the radio station you had to be a caregiver to get the shot.
Yeah, anybody that takes it over.
No.
This morning. Besides, how would they know?
Did they confirm that?
They didn't want any, if you give it to me, you're right, you get the shot. Which, goes up toward the back, so. I decided to put it out there, but if anybody wanted to ride, she said maybe, she said they have had some people who are only looking for local shots because they don't want to drive that far, so. You never know.
I thought they gave them out right there though.
Isn't the show still about to start?
Yes, I'll just grab my minutes.
So we have 1 minute to start.
Or mute. No, not mute.
Mm-mm.
Huh? Yeah, mute.
We're just waiting for 10 o'clock to hit, so we have give more people a chance to kind of get on here.
Good morning.
Probably should.
Dave Mitchell in the house.
What's up, D?
Hello, everybody. Hi, Mary. I see you're on here today. Hello, Steve.
It's a little bit like romper room where you get to say hello to all of us through the magic mirror.
Who we are.
10 o'clock. Few more seconds.
Everybody's too young to know what that is, Donna.
Seems like we're getting.
I realized that, Dave, when I had no feedback from that. I'm sad now, and I'll be quiet for the rest of the time.
Unfortunately, I knew what it was, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did too.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Hey, good morning. Thank you for coming to Kat and I's little class here that we thought we'd put together for everyone. I know everyone's time is important, so hopefully we can provide you guys some good information. For those of you who don't know, I'm Dakota Riley, and this is one of my rock stars, Kat Morris, with the Depend on Dakota team. Hello. At Keller Williams. Basically, this kind of came about the beginning of the year. Kat and I were doing a lot of reflecting over the last year that we had, the good, the bad, the ugly, you know, and actually we were kind of surprised at just how much we grew too throughout the year. You know, there's definitely a lot of growth, a lot of energy, and it was great. And you know, I'm new at kind of growing this team. I was only a single agent just a couple of years ago. So, you know, I have a bunch of great guys now on my team, and they know, they basically know what I told them is, guys, look, you know, we'll be Facebook. All right. I promise you, we'll get there. Right now, we're kind of in the garage figuring it all out, you know, and, you know, let's just work together and we'll get through this. And I mean, I'm pretty comfortable thinking that we're probably out of the garage a little bit. Like,
We need a lawnmower.
we've made it to the front, maybe the curbside at this point. But, you know, we were kind of joking, like wondering, you know, what it must look like from the outside looking in to us, if it's, you know, because it's definitely not all, you know, rainbows and show ponies and everything. Like we, you know, peek behind our curtain at any given time. You know, we have the same aggravations, frustrations, setbacks, you know, downfalls, pitfalls as everybody else, you know, just the blood, sweat, and the tears. You know, there were tears, lots of tears. I don't know if I mentioned that, but one thing I think what we realized is a lot of things kept coming to fruition, and we kept plugging through and kept growing and being able to help everybody. Was the common theme kind of kept coming back to our mindset. I think everybody in my team, I know I preach it, and these guys sop it up like a bit with a biscuit here, that this mindset is really everything. And so, you know, we thought kind of coming through here and maybe sharing a few of our experiences where that's kind of proven itself, as well as, you know, maybe tips and tricks that we've used might help some of you along your paths in case you're kind of feeling the same things. And so, you know, one thing I learned a long time ago is, you know, our brains are these like 2,000-year-old vessels that are literally designed to protect us, right? And so problem is 2,000 years ago, protecting us meant like, shit, is that a wildebeest? You know, fight or flight, you know? And so that's not what's going to happen these days. You know, we're not in danger. You know, I don't know about you. I've been on this planet for over 40 years, and I haven't had to flee a pterodactyl or, you know, a woolly mammoth, you know, at all. And so what our brains are doing now is they have to go out and try to find things to kind of protect us from. So a great example I always go back to is about 5 years ago. You know, my business was doing well. I was growing, and I was kind of clicking all cylinders. And what happened was my brain is seeing me grow. And now with growth, that means I'm doing more of the right things, right? I'm making more phone calls, which means I'm getting hung up on more, right? I'm going on more appointments, which means I'm getting rejected more. So my brain is seeing this, my heart's all excited, but the brain goes all big brother, big sister, and wants to protect me from all this rejection, which I need to experience to grow, right? And so there's this disconnect. And I kind of just got into this real funk. I didn't know why. It just didn't feel right. I wasn't happy. And what happens is you kind of start, your subconscious clicks in and you kind of start self-sabotaging a little bit. I started getting away from doing the activities I should have done, less phone calls, which means less appointments. I was just finding myself going to the gym twice a day because, people compliment you if you just go into the gym. And now, my brain is doing a high five and victory laps upstairs because it thinks that it's protecting me. But in the meantime, my whole business is starting to just sink and I just can't figure it out. And it was right around that time that Keller Williams actually hired and just brought on a coach from a Tony Robbins camp. And he came and they were doing a class kind of on mindset. And I didn't even know anything about it. And I just knew I was in a funk. So I figured, let's go and figure out what they have to say. And I remember sitting in the back of that class and it was almost like an infomercial, it was like, are you in a funk? Do you not know why? Maybe it's this mindset. And he introduced us to this 4-day opportunity to go and basically immerse ourselves into a whole lot of, just learning more about the brain and the mindset and these activities to kind of retrain and get us away from the fear and understand so that we can have more of a connect. The heart and the brain understands that it doesn't need to be so fearful and keep us from getting the things that we want. And when I tell you, I went full out and went on that trip, even though it was way outside my comfort zone. And, there's somewhere in New Jersey on the floor of this arena, there's like a shell of the old me that just had so many limiting beliefs and just didn't understand. And I've come back just such a different person. Some of you in this call actually, probably knew me the before and after, and they've said it to my face. And I understand that, I haven't looked back. I have a whole kind of new outlook on like the way we look at things. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share, a couple of examples. Like Kat, for example, I think you had a recent mindset shift.
I did. So one of the biggest, I guess I would say the start of my mind shift was realizing the difference between can and can't versus will and won't. Everybody on this call has the ability and can do amazing things. They put their mind to it. They're willing to work hard for it. They can do it. But it's such an easy way to say, I can't do that. Or look at that person. I only wish I could do that person. And I'm not exempt for that because I did the same thing. Oh gosh, I only wish I could do that. I only wish I could make this much money. I only wish I could have that many clients. I only wish I could lose 10 pounds. Well, the difference is I wasn't willing to do that. And a lot of us have to come into the senses of, it's not can versus can. It's really, will we or won't we? Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to make sacrifices? Are you willing to get honest with yourself and push through those fears and push through those confident issues and figure out what works for you and what you need to work on to get to where you want to be? That was just a huge mindset shift for me. And just in general, I think a lot of people suffer with that can and can't versus will and won't. And it's a hard pill to swallow. You don't want to think to yourself, well, I'm not willing to do anything, but that's the reality of it. You have to put the effort in. I decided this was what I was willing to do, and I was going to do anything to make it happen. And I wasn't going to use can or can't in my vocabulary ever again. So that was probably my biggest mind shift, right from the beginning when I started real estate. Well, I can't say right from the beginning, but once I started my mind shift journey in real estate, that's what was probably the first one I had to change.
Yeah, actually, another one that you use a lot, maybe tell them, this was a cool one that you said, you had some struggles and a lot of nerves and angst. And how did you start looking at your clients?
So I actually started looking at my clients as friends. Now, I'm not talking about sphere of influence, which is driven into our brain, SOI, call. That's all well and good. But actually, it was the strangers that I didn't know that I started to look at as friends instead of clients or potential sales. One of the biggest revelations I had was at open houses. If you know me, I never shut up. I love to talk to people. I can sell, sand to a rock. It doesn't matter. But when it came to real estate or being at an open house, I'm like, I don't know what I'm saying. What's the right script to snag these clients? How do I make them want, me as their agent? How do I convince them that they should use me? Well, then I started getting nervous and then the anxiety set in. Then I wasn't really saying much. I wasn't really using any script. I was just kind of like, okay, enjoy the house. Talk to you later. Have a great day. But for me, the moment that I realized, if I just make a lot of friends, I'm probably going to do pretty good in this business if I'm genuine with it. This whole business with real estate is all relationship based. You hear it all the time, but we forget that that's really the center of it. Be genuine, take interest in those people, ask, where they're headed, or, what are their goals? What are they looking for in a house? Is there anything specific they've always wanted? Make a genuine friend. I have
like
thousands
before.
of friends at this point. I mean, it really, we put so much unnecessary pressure on us to make that connection. If we just take all of that off and say, hey, I'm pretty good at making friends, or I like people, or at least I hope you kind of do in this business. Then I think at that point, you are going to start seeing that it's a lot easier to connect with people, and there's a lot more people who want to work with you because they do trust you and like you, and you took a genuine interest. People will see that. I mean, just connect. It's really that's it. It's that simple.
Yeah, I think again, we put a lot of extra angst and again, it's the fears, I mean, when I was going through that 5 years ago, it was literally like a fear of success. My brain was so scared that I was going to have to endure these additional failures, but I'm okay with that. Like, that's fine. It's okay, brain, step aside. We got this, but again, until I understood that, it really didn't hit home. And actually, it's funny. We were also talking about kind of some would call it rock bottom stories. Maybe we could look at it as humble beginnings.
Yeah, sounds nicer.
Things that we learned. I mean, mine was a ways back. I mean, back in the summer of 07, one of my best friends, who actually, no coincidences, right, is my VP of operations right now, as we said, on the team, and is one of the main reasons that I am a team. She was flipping condos back where we lived, and basically we were at the pool one day, and it was like, hey, why don't we just get our licenses? That way, you have a job, you can secure the mortgage, you can pay your referral fee, save commission. Like, that sounds great, passive income, let's do it. So literally we get our license, and as they're putting the license in our hand, it was like breaking news, the market is dead. And it was like, oh shit, well, that sucks, kind of. So Judy went off, she didn't flip again, she went off to sell franchises. Now, I mean, again, I wasn't in real estate, but I'm watching everybody run out. But the problem is now the seed has been planted in my head. And once a seed or anything gets planted up in here, it's just, I mean, look out. It's not a safe place to be. So I kind of got interested, and I figured, well, I mean, come on, how hard can real estate be, right? I'll do the right things. I'll study and I'll study the scripts, and I'll make the calls, and, I can do this. I have plenty of savings. I'll be fine. So, I joined with a small firm, and what happens is, guess what? Spoiler alert, the business didn't come as fast as I thought it was going to come, right? So, I'm doing all the right things. I'm down to dented cans of green beans because they're 33 cents. And I mean, those of you that know me as that Tito's snob, trust me, it was Smirnoff back then because it was a lot more affordable. And so every month I'm just, I'm focused that, shoot, I don't have enough closings yet. My bank account is dwindling. I need more. I don't have it. And it got that down to the point where I was down to literally my last couple $100s. And I did have a closing lined up right before my mortgage was due. And then I had kind of another closing after that would get me on. But the problem was, my broker at the time was going on his family fishing trip, and he wasn't getting back to pay me until after the mortgage was due. And I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm a new agent. I didn't understand. So I kind of pleaded and explained, I'm done. I'm tapped out. I have nothing left, and I said, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. And so I remember going home that night, and I was sitting in my galley kitchen, back against the wall, and, tears into my glass of Smirnoff, just not knowing what the hell I was going to do, and got up enough liquid courage to get up and call my mom and basically, apologize that I'm so sorry as an adult that I have to ask for this. And I promise it's coming. I just don't have it yet. It's just like a bridge loan, I promise. And then she's crying because I'm crying. And of course you can always ask your mom, and so it was this whole big thing. But she gave it to me. I paid my mortgage. I got my commission. I made it through to the next closing. And next thing you know, it was the next closing, and then another closing, and then the closings kept coming. And I've never had to turn and ask anybody for that money again. But the main thing that happened with that day that I didn't even know, again, until I learned how that mind works. In that kitchen that night, there was a mindset shift that happened. And I don't know if you could pick up on it if you don't know, but the whole time I was focusing on my bank account shrinking, right? My chest was tightening, the anxiety, like I know that feeling. For anybody that's going through it, trust me, I lived it all the way down to the bottom. And what happened was, when my back was so far against the wall and I got that money, all of a sudden I was able to breathe. And 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 I was able all of a sudden I wasn't focused on the closings I didn't have. I wasn't focused on my empty bank account. I wasn't focused on any of that. My sole focus went to that next closing so that I could get it, so that I could pay back my mom. And as I'm looking forward and focusing on that next closing, things started happening and more closings are coming, because now my mind has shifted off of what don't I have and sending all the energy out to keep bringing me what I don't have. But it's like, look, this closing, I have it. And I became focused on that. And that's what basically started expanding everything and sets you off into growth. So I think too, a lot of people, it's a good example of the scarcity versus abundance. You know, stop worrying about what you don't get, the listing you don't get, or the call that hangs up on you. You know, just keep going, focusing on ones that you're going to get the yes. You know, and it's funny because I talk a lot of people, and I've heard a lot of different rock bottom stories, and it's just funny because Kat, yours was actually much more recent, but kind of a lot of similarities.
Yeah, it definitely was. I told myself that I would never have a rock bottom and I would never get there. Well, we're wrong, because we all do. We all struggle. We all hit that wall. You know, and I'm not afraid to, you know, admit it. I can be a prideful human sometimes. I came from 10 years in the corporate world and also the service industry. So for me, it was, you go to work and you get your check on a Friday, or, you know, 12 o'clock on a Thursday, it's direct deposited, or you go and you wait tables or bartend and you have instant gratification of that money in your hand. Well, of course, as we know, that's just like real estate, right? I mean, go to work and you get a paycheck. No, you know, no, it's not. But of course, just like a lot of other people, we get in and you're hungry and you think you're going to start crushing it, and it might take a little while, but once you get there, you know, smooth sailing. No. I got to that point and, you know, I was hungry, I was working, but things just were not happening all of a sudden. At first they were okay. I had a couple paychecks here and there and I thought, okay, I'm doing pretty good. And then I wasn't paid for 4 months and I had nothing truly really on the horizon. I had no other sources of income. I had already maxed out all my credit cards at this point. And, you know, I was just trying to do anything to stay afloat. Oh, by the way, I had $200 in my bank account and I had a $350 car payment due in 3 days. I'm not great at math, but you could probably figure out that that's just not enough. It wasn't going to cover it. And I came to the realization that, you know, I was panicked. I was defeated. I was headed out the real estate door. I wasn't going to make it. I was going to be one of those statistics. Oh, you make it your first year, congrats. Or you make it 5 years, a year forever. I wasn't even going to make it to year number 1. I was devastated. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time I grab a 25, 30-hour work week job and maybe I can do real estate on the side. We all know how well that works. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So I called up Dakota. Now, me and Dakota are obviously teammates, but we're actually really, really good friends. And I don't know that a lot of people realize that. We're actually really, really close friends. So calling her and telling her that I was about to quit real estate, not only upsetting my friend, but also, you know, breaking kind of a promise and a goal that we had together, was really hard for me to do. So I called up Dakota and I said, I know I just joined your team and I'm so sorry to disappoint you, but I just can't do this anymore. And she sat there silent and I was like, oh gosh. And literally all she said to me over the phone was, no. What the hell does she mean? No. What am I supposed to do with no? Like that, what? Okay. And she's like, no, I'm not about to let you walk away from this right before you become the agent you told yourself and promised me that you would be. And I'm like, okay. She's like, you're stuck with me. I'm sorry. She reminded me of her rock bottom story in that conversation. And she's like, if I had stopped then and I didn't ask for help, I wouldn't be where I was today. I had to make a change then. I had to make a promise. So I'm going to do the same thing for you with a challenge attached. I'm like, oh gosh, a Dakota challenge? That's terrifying.
Yes.
And she said, I'm going to lend you the money to pay for your bills because don't you have an offer you just put in? You're waiting on, you know, an answer. And I'm like, yeah, but in this market, I'm like, we all know how that goes. I'm like, it's probably not going to get accepted. She goes, I'm going to lend you the money. But you have to promise me that you're going to stop focusing on what you don't have, stop focusing on that bank account because now your bills are paid. And I want you to focus on getting that next deal. And I said, God, okay, I'm in tears. I'm a little embarrassed. And I said, okay, well, shit, guess we're doing it. So that night, my offer was accepted that very night. And I was like, no freaking way. And then I hang up on the phone and I call her and I tell her what happened. She's like, see, absolutely. And then the next morning I get a buyer calls and says, I found a condo that I absolutely love. We have cash and we'd love to close in 13 days. We closed that deal in 13 days. At this point, I had paid Dakota back in 4 weeks with room to spare. I had 2 more transactions under my belt. And it all of a sudden hit me and I'm like, is this really happening? Am I making this up? Like, am I dreaming? This can't be happening. And I was like, have I truly been standing in my own way? Like, is everything Dakota's been telling me about, like, stop focusing on what you don't have and stop with the worry and focus on just moving forward? I realized that I really had been standing in my own way because I was just so determined to get that next transaction, or like how I just couldn't get anything to happen. And I had no money at all. Like, what was I going to do? I just went into a spiral and I couldn't let other good things come my way because I wasn't focused on them. I wasn't open to them. So that's kind of one of our biggest things. So things are going great. I'm on cloud 9. Boom, COVID hit. We got shut down. All of us were all realtors were like, well, do we have to stop working? Do we not? We were all a little confused. So my natural self, doom and gloom. I was like, that's it. We're sunk. It was going so well. That's the end of it. I'm crushed. I'm out of the business again. All my deals are going to fall through because no one wants to buy, during the pandemic.
See what I have to deal with?
All the time. And all of a sudden I sat there and I'm like, nope, I'm not letting myself do this. I'm not letting myself do this. So I called Dakota. And me, full of fire and positivity. I don't even know who I was at that point, out of body experience. And I said to Dakota, this isn't going to change anything. It's going to make us better. We're going to pivot. We're going to find a way to keep all of our sales going and we're just going to crush it. And she, over the phone, laughs in my face and goes, oh, so you're telling me you finally got it? Finally, you get it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, point taken. I get it. So, at that point, things were going really, really well. Get another offer accepted that night, that same night that they, came on breaking news, COVID, pandemic, we need to do a stay-at-home order. 3 days later, I get a call from a thank you card I sent from people who had listed their home twice with the expert realtor in that area. And they called and said that they wanted to throw caution to the wind. And they decided to give me a chance to come do a listing presentation. Well, that was a $1.2 million home. It didn't sell twice with their expert realtor. They gave me the listing and I sold it in 12 hours on the market. I cannot, guys, make this shit up. I really can't. It's so powerful and so real if you just get out of your own way and just be like, I'm going to do this. Whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to make it happen. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty good return on investment, so I was pretty happy with that after that stuff. But and again, mindset is stuff that it doesn't just come like that. But one thing that you can also do, I've learned in the snap of a finger, it's called kind of your state. Every now and then, again, nobody's perfect, and even though I know all this stuff, again, we're constantly pulling each other up and each other on the team and all that. But again, when you find yourself kind of focusing on the wrong thing or getting into that state of just the woe is me or the doom and gloom, literally you just in an instant, you just gotta just stop and just realize, no, just kind of catch yourself. You just gotta stay on top of your subconscious, because that's what's kind of driving you. And again, don't forget, we are people that we don't go towards pleasure, right? We go away from pain. So, these fears is what creates a lot of this pain. And, certain things, when you're focusing on it too much, again, that's what expands. So, that's what another little tip is just changing your state and catch yourself going down a rabbit hole. And then Kat, I think like you said, you've been working on it for a while.
Yeah, I have. So, the story I just told, Dakota, she told, like, she changed my mindset in the moments that I'm investing in you. And, you need to invest in yourself. I'm investing in you. We're a team and we promise each other stuff. So we have to make this work. And there's a difference because the mindset isn't going to be a snap of your finger and it's fixed, but the state of your mind in that moment absolutely can. So, and I want to make the differentiation before, like, with that, because this takes time. It takes practice. I don't think that we'll ever be perfect at it because guess what, everyone? We are human. We all have emotions. We all have shitty days. We all have challenges that happen. We have to be kind to ourselves in this process. You're not going to just be like, I'm so happy and everything's wonderful all the time. That's just not realistic. And if you put that pressure on you, you're going to feel really bad when you have a bad day. The difference is you got to train yourself, like your mind, like you're training for a marathon, one day at a time, one moment at a time, one thought at a time. Acknowledge those sneaky little like sad thoughts, find those bad habits, find those patterns within yourself, figure out why you're afraid of something, figure out where your confidence is lacking, work on yourself that way. I mean, when I tell you guys, Dakota is, I don't even know how she puts up with me. Like I really don't, but she's constantly pulling me out of trenches like that I literally dig myself constantly. And I think it's important that I share that with you because I'm not perfect. There are days where literally she grabs that self-loathing shovel that I'm using to dig my own trenches out of my hand. And she's like, what are we doing here? And, she mentioned tears. As much as I don't want to admit it, she's right. I cry all the time. But I don't sit in the gutter, or that deep trench for very long anymore. I don't let myself get into this deeper trench. I hit it and I realize like, what's going on here? What is something else going on in my life? Is my focus elsewhere? Am I just having a bad day? And then I snap out of it because I'm now noticing that truly where my mind is where the rest of my life is going to follow. So just be kind to yourself. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to get down here and there. Just don't let yourself sit in it.
Yeah, and I think another thing we talk about is the abundance versus scarcity mindset, right? So like scarcity is when you go on a listing appointment and you don't get it and you're just so upset because that, there was a listing, you didn't get it, and there's not many out there, right? As opposed to somebody, you don't get it, you come out, well, there's probably 100 houses, especially right now, probably 1,000 houses that don't have a for sale sign in it. So go get one of those, stop focusing. I remember I had one week where there's about like three different deals kind of went all like haywire and I was just so upset, and then I thought, you know what? All right, Dakota, if you don't want 3 deals to fall apart, then don't have 3 deals together. How about that, right? So no, of course I want to have 3 deals together, 5 deals together, 10 deals together, because what? Just keep putting the balls in the air. A ball's going to fall, but a lot of times too, you guys know in these transactions, they come apart, you just keep willing them back together, everybody kind of for the same goal. So, I mean, on any given day, I'm just trying to, if a ball's coming down, we're putting 2 up in the air, a ball's going to come down, we're putting 3 up in the air. So, and again, that doesn't mean just throw and walk away. It's just kind of the visual, you know what I mean? Is where that whole, the abundance comes from. Because I think too, with the scarcity is where we get into that fear that there's not another buyer out there. There's not, like, for example, in this market, I mean, I hear it's a tale of 2 realtors, right? There's so many realtors out there that are sitting back and just checking MLS every single day for that one house for their 10 buyers to come on. All I know is us on our team, I mean, we've been doing nothing but shooting fish in a barrel here. We're going after anybody that had their home on the market the past 3-4 years that didn't sell. Do they know that their house is probably like $75,000, $90,000 higher? Basically going after old buyers. A lot of these buyers, they're just kind of ghosting you guys or whatever because they're freaking out because the prices are so high. But are we explaining to them that their purchase power is the strongest that it's ever been, and every month you're paying yourself down faster, and you think that these $450,000 homes that you're looking at are crap, so you're going to wait for the price to come down? Well, that's great, because if the rates go up to 5 or 6, I'm going to be schlepping you around to $400,000 houses, and then how are you going to feel about those? So again, that's another kind of the abundance through the scarcity. If you can just always look to the bigger picture instead of really getting scared of what you didn't get or what you don't have. Just look at, I just look at the limited inventory. All that means is this: how many houses we're ready to pop. We just go and find them. We probably just closed 3 expireds from 2018, and not only did we list them higher than what they expired at, but then there were bidding wars over what that number was. And so you can imagine these sellers were absolutely super excited. And oh, by the way, they didn't call us, we called them. So there are so many people to go out and call. And just, again, everything out there, it's politics and COVID. Real estate really isn't out there. Now maybe, the occasional, because they're just talking about limited inventory, but do they really understand? Be the person that's like sharing them. A little trick for the real estate one that we do. This is where scarcity actually works. are you informing these people that were on the market? I mean, you do that market snapshot from like a year ago till today, and it's like almost every single town. It's amazing how little inventory compared to last year on the same day. And also I mean, some of these average prices are up 150, 200,000, you know, so to get that in front of them, they need to see that visual. Are you mailing these people, you know? So these are things you got to go in anybody that's kind of sitting around and waiting for the market to happen to them, they're not going to be thriving in this. This is a chance to thrive, but you got to get outside the box and go and want it.
Yeah, and I mean, we're basically training, you know, the buyers and the sellers that we're speaking to, we're training their mindset because they don't know real estate. They don't know what's going on. They're being told by, you know, Ma and Pa and Uncle George, who, you know, has bought a house, you know, 25, 30 years ago, and they're just not sure really what's happening, or they're just hearing what's on the news, or, you know, it's going to be a crash, it's going to be a doom, you know, next week. And we just have to explain to them why it's not. So we're constantly giving mindset, you know, kind of challenges to whoever we're speaking with as well. Just a little mindset shift for this business, pertaining mostly to like newer agents, or maybe agents who have had their license for a while, but they haven't really done any, or they haven't done much, or they did some a few years ago, they want to restart, is knowledge. So I actually am lucky enough to be now a mentor. So I do have some mentees, and I didn't do it because I'm like the biggest lead generating queen. Like she's on the phone all day. I'm trying, but I became a coach because I get it. I'm still finding success, and I still had to find my own success. But I really get where, you know, those newer agents are coming from, because I was one of those, you know, newer agents not very long ago. And I want to talk about knowledge. Don't worry so much about what you don't know when you're going out to talk to people. Just focus on what you do know. You know who you are. You know how to speak to people. You know how to ask how they're doing. You know how to ask what they're looking for. You know how to ask what their style is, or is there anything specific, you know, that they're looking for, especially if you're in an open house. Make those open houses worthwhile. The moment you start thinking you need to know everything, you will not do anything, because, by the way, you'll never know everything. It's just not possible. You're going to learn something new probably every day in this business. I talk to, you know, veteran agents all the time. I talk to Dakota, and there's still things that we have to learn sometimes, or that
I learned
change.
from you.
So, I mean, just don't be afraid to get out there and just start asking general basic questions. You can find out the answers later. And what I mean by that is, if they ask you a question that you truly don't know the answer to, just say, that's such a great question. You know what? I don't have the answer right now, but I'll get back to you on that. Give me till tomorrow. Or, you know what? That's a really great question. And I do believe I know the answer, but let me just make sure that nothing's changed so I can make sure I give you the most accurate information. I'll give you a call back tomorrow. Make sure you give them that call back. But now you've just had 2 chances to connect and build trust with that person. You weren't too egotistical to you pretend you knew. But now you're also following up the information that you promised them they would. And that's it, like gold in this business. If you are okay to say, you know, and humble enough to do that, and, you know, follow up with what you tell them you're going to do, you're probably going to have a client or a friend for life. So I just think that's really, really big, because I think a lot of people get stuck on having to just train and do so many classes or do so many things that they just never actually get out there and just do it. So my advice is just to go do it, shadow someone, try an open house, and just start getting the conversation. You'll learn, you'll get that knowledge will come to you through conversation. I promise.
Yeah, don't keep getting ready to get ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing, it's funny, if you come to peek into any of our offices, or what is huge on our team that I've been doing forever, it would be visualization and manifestation. And we have more, ask anybody around our offices, we do more visuals. You know, you have the boards up on your wall.
Yeah, we can start doing it on our plexiglass right here.
Yeah,
We need to.
seriously.
Yeah, manifesting. I mean, what a buzzword. I mean, everyone hears manifesting, and everyone's like, some people are sick of it, some people don't believe in it, some people don't know how to use it. We've all heard this. It's hard to believe that you can say what you want, that you can write what you want, that you can set true intentions and goals and literally watch your life transform. It is that easy, with a catch. You do have to set yourself in motion. You don't get to just sit there laying on the couch, eating a bag of chips, flicking through, you know, the best of Netflix, which I love to do sometimes, And you just don't get to do that and all of a sudden expect like, oh, I have this wonderful vision board that's just hanging out there, but I'm not gonna really do anything for it. Hopefully it just happens. That's not how it works. You have to have those visuals in your face and saying, these are what I want and this is what I expect of my life. And then you have to go out and start doing something to get there. I think that's the most important thing. But that, again, comes with mindset, not worrying about to just get started. Don't psych yourself out about what you don't know. You know, going back to what we said before, like, can't I versus will I, won't I? Will I find my fears? Will I face my fears? Will I change what I'm doing? Will I change daily habits? What do I need to do to get to where I want to go? If you use your visualizations and your intentional settings, and then you start making movements, you will be utterly shocked at what is to follow.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of great examples. Once I shattered my mind limiting belief about, you know, I decided, you know, as most, you know, I'm going to sell 50 houses a few years ago, you know, and so what did I do? I just got 50 little naked greenhouses and had mom print out all these sold stickers. And every time we sold a house, we took a sticker, a sold sticker, we put it over the greenhouse, we high-fived, we jumped up and celebrated, gave each other a hug, and kind of solidified it into us as this is who we are, this is what we do. And the last day of that year, in that December, I remember I had 4 closings, which would have been 47, 48, 49, and 50. And I got that voicemail first thing in the morning from one of my young sellers saying, hey, yeah, so couldn't fit the couch in the truck. So yay, they get a free truck. And we might have left some stuff at the dishwasher, I'm not sure, but okay, we're off to New Hampshire, thanks, let us know. And there's like a blizzard and I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. And sure enough, at one of my closings, don't I get the call from the other agent that it's unacceptable. They actually left the fridge a mess and there was no, then we're not closing until this is taken care of. And I was like, oh, hell's no. Like we're not, that 50th sticker is going up come hell or high water. So we ended up working it out. We figured, you know what, we just do a hold back, have them, you know, we paid for the cleaners to go in and take care of everything. And that 50th closed. And another super visual that we use, and if you guys know the book The Secret, which all this mindset stuff and law of attraction is about, you can print yourself out a check from the universe, right? And you write whatever number you want on that check. So the first year I did it, I had it there, had it taped on my wall, and I literally came within just a couple thousand of that number that I wrote, which to be honest was way ahead of what I thought it was going to do, that ever, you know, could have imagined. So the next year I went to write just a stupid number, right? And I hesitated. Again, shame on me, right? And I will never do this again, but I hesitated and I cut back and I didn't put the stupid number, right? I put something that I thought was a little bit more conservative. Shame on me, right? My year's cranking. I'm having an awesome year. Everything's fine. Everything's going. There was this one week in September and it was the weirdest thing. Like nothing was working. I mean, none of my offers were getting accepted. I had a couple of things falling apart and I'm like, what is going on? It'd been smooth sailing like the whole year. And one day I looked and I was about I don't even think a couple thousand away from that check, the number that I ended up writing on that check. And I was like, son of a bitch, it's the check. So I took it down, I ripped it up and I wrote the stupid number that I should have from the beginning. I go and I'm putting the check back up on the wall. And as I'm taking my thumb off, my phone's on the desk in front of me. I look down, it's the agent from one of my deals that they didn't accept the offer, asking me if my guys were still interested because that deal had fallen apart. Of course they were, and we went and put that deal together. And all of a sudden, all these hiccups just stopped, you know? So, I mean, again, just really these visualizations, I think, you know, really, just, you know, if we have a house that doesn't sell, you know, if it's not in this market, because like everything is, but just in general, if we had a difficult property, you can be sure as heck my mom's writing that address down on that index card and it's going to be in front of my face or in front of Kat's face or in front of somebody else's face on the team, you know, so that it's in there. And sure enough, like good things happen. So we definitely have a big belief in that.
Yeah, the damn index card gets me every time. I'm you know, bitching and moaning, this one won't sell, or I can't, it's like a scarlet letter on this thing. And Nancy goes, did you get the index card? And I'm like, no, I didn't do the index card. She's like, do you need an index card? I have one for you. And then I'm like, fine, I'll use the damn index card. And when I tell you within 48 hours, every time I put this damn index card up in front of my face, something changes. It's unbelievable. The last story, you know, that I'll go through before we kind of, you know, open it up to, is this just happened to me. We are in the month of February. In November, I wrote that I had the end of February to get this certain sales volume. It had to do with like my capping, et cetera, and stuff. Of course, I have to have very specific goals. Well, I wrote that in November. It's in front of my face at my desk. Didn't really pay much attention to it. Dakota came to my office on Friday of last week, I think. And I looked and I go, oh, I put that up there. And you know what? I didn't get that sales, that sales volume. And all of a sudden I was like, wait a second. I didn't need that sales volume this month. I needed that sales volume total by the end of the month to get to another goal. And I am not kidding you, that afternoon, I get a call that both my buyer and my seller from a really big deal that was supposed to close in the middle of March decided they would both really like to close at the end of February. 3 hours later, I get an amendment from the lender asking us to officially change the closing date to February 26th. I have hit the goal that I intended back in November. Like, what? So immediately I went and I erased that number and I did a bigger number because I didn't want to have her story with the check that she's told me 700 times, because it's real. It's so real. It's unbelievable. But we were so excited to be able to talk to you guys about all of our stuff. But we're hoping that actually our good friend, Janice Bosworth, would be willing to tell one of her stories, because she had a really cool mindset shift very recently.
Yeah, Janice is a good friend of ours, and yeah, we're really close, and she hears this from me all the time, and she's good at it too. But literally, Janice, you just had a major, you overcame one of your biggest fears. I mean, I could see it in your face. You didn't want to do any of what you just did, and to come up with this situation you're in now, I couldn't be prouder. So I think it's a great story to share.
So thank you guys. You guys
We
are
can't hear you, on mute.
Oh, okay, let me see. I may have to go into your mom to get some, hold on. Let me just go into your mom. Get over to Nan, she'll help me out of this one. Hold on.
Good. Mom, tell us.
Can you help me? Oh, I'm good, okay. Now I'm traveling, there you go. Just visiting your mom. An office I'm in a lot, thanks to you guys. Yeah, so positive mindset is so key. So just kind of touching on what Kat had said about the open houses. So I've gotten a lot of business, including Bucher Corner, from an open house. He took my card, he liked me, didn't know who he was from Adam. I would approach them as though you're maybe doing a job interview. You've got to stay positive and you've got to be present. All right, so going into my mind shift, my growth opportunity, my bust out this last time, is you guys have convinced me to do a video. So whenever I do a picture, a photo shoot, I'm always extremely hesitant to do a video, particularly if it's a larger home. I'm really comfortable with the smaller homes, but not so much with the larger luxury homes. So you guys convinced me, and Kat was getting really silly and saying, put on a pair of stilettos. So I kind of use that as my step off point. So I made a joke out of coming soon video with stilettos. So a lot of my friends that have never seen me in heels were like, this we've got to see. So I kind of built it up, and it's so nerve wracking to do a video. I mean, truly, I probably lose about 5 pounds in pure sweat just getting ready for the video. But once you get into it and once you start practicing, you start to kind of lose that self-doubt thing, and you start to have a little bit of fun with it. So I guess you stop taking yourself so seriously and you start to have some fun. So we did the video, and it was really popular on Facebook. Everyone was sharing it, and the seller loved it. So I guess it's just step out of your comfort zone. And if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. So you have to really believe in yourself and really just kind of know that, you know what, if someone selected you, there was a reason that they did. So you've just got to believe in yourself, and you can believe it and do it.
And tell them a little bit about the house and how fast it sold.
Mhm.
Okay. So the house is, it was a challenge coming to the price point, because there's never been a price point like this in Braintree before. So in meeting with the seller, I was being interviewed with 3 other agents. So it moved really quickly because I had to convince him that I was the agent that could do the job. And I knew I could, because I have faith in the house, and I have faith that Braintree could bust through the ceiling. So after 6 days of showing, it went under agreement with multiple offers. So I think that my biggest lesson learned in this whole transaction was that you as a listing agent or you as a buyer's agent, you have to be the pilot for the person that you're representing. So while you're driving that plane, while you're in the cockpit, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to try to grab that wheel and turn you in a different direction. So it's really important to have the eye on the prize the whole time. So not to get stuck in drama, not to get pulled away in a different area, and just be really honest with your client and guide them, because they don't really know. Sometimes it takes a little while to bring a person around from A to B, but you have to just make sure that you're the person in charge and that they feel as though they're comfortable with you being in charge and know that you have their best interest in mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Janice, that was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. That was,
Thank you, guys. Thank you for all the positivity too. I think that it's so refreshing to be able to, if you're down one day, or either you or I, and just kind of get together and we bring each other up.
right.
You know, we bring each other up, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, that actually reminds me of another good point. And Kat struggled this a little bit more at the beginning, but we've been working on it. So her roller coaster is not really like this. They're more like mine now, like
I'm
that.
on the
But
kiddie coaster now.
yeah, we're not quite at the kiddie coaster, but calm down. But, you know, so for example, we deal with what we have to deal with it when we have to deal. So it was maybe a few months ago, I got a call. It was, and I had we were waiting, we needed an answer from like a condo complex. They needed to get from the attorney or something. And basically, if we didn't get the answer we wanted, three deals, 3 dominoes were dead, right? They just weren't happening. We're talking well into the over $1 million, you know, in a deal just gone like that. But guess what? I wasn't going to know until 4:30, right? So the old me, or very recent Kat, would basically spend that entire day, like, you know, rocking in the fetal position, just sick to your stomach, just nervous, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And I know we've all been there, and I have been there before. I don't anymore. But all right, what am I going to do? I won't know till 4:30. So I could sit around and just nervous and sweat it, or just go to the office, make my lead generation calls, set a couple of appointments that might set me up for tens of thousands of dollars down the road. And so basically I choose that road now. There's nothing I can do. So why freak out about it? 4:30, that call came, everything was fine. So if I had wasted my whole day freaking out about something that I had no control over and nothing I did, you know, it's not like I could have gone and figured something else. It was literally it was out of my hands. So when something I think is out of our hands, I think we all have that tendency to kind of freak out about it, sweat about it, play the what if game from now until eternity. You know, and that's something I always tell my clients when they want to play that. We don't play the what if game. We play my game, which is we'll cross that bridge when we come to it game, because I've probably been on that bridge. You know, it's a much easier, more fun game to play. But yeah, just again, and when you're sweating and putting those, by worrying about it too, don't forget, that's putting that nervous energy out there. And, you know, in something, a delicate decision, you don't want to be putting that kind of energy out there. Just go on, do what you got to do, go make your other commissions, go make your other appointments. And then, you know, anything that's out of your control, you can't waste your energy. And then if you're scared and you're nervous about it, and then you try to make those calls, that's going to come across to these people that you're calling. You know, you need to just come clean, keep your confidence, keep your head up. And again, why ruin a day's worth of lead gen over something that you have had no control over? And again, I'm not saying this or preaching this. I'm telling you because I was that person who did it all the time. So.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, just go keep making those friends. Like I said before, like, just start visualizing like that you're a friendly person and you want a lot of friends, and those lot of friends are going to help you, you know, a lot of ways. So I think for us, like, that's really all these just little tips and tricks that we constantly like honing in on and making better and tweaking and reminding each other and pulling each other up. You know, there are some days where I get to pull up Dakota, or I get to use her own, you know, her own words at her, which is my favorite. But it really is just important. You know, we're so thankful and honored that all of you guys showed up today. We were just hearing so much about, you know, people just being tired or just in a funk, and just, you know, with COVID and not seeing friends, and just like the market being so insane that we're out every weekend doing crazy stuff. I mean, we really are just honored. I think we wanted to open it up to anyone who's had either a recent experience with this or had their own mindset shift, or even if you're bold enough to share, a funk that you're in or a fear that you have that you're trying to get through, or an issue that you're having, that maybe we can help you tweak your mindset a little bit or look at it a different way, to, blow right through that, that issue. We'd be happy to.
Yeah, does anybody have any questions, anything?
Just unmute yourself and start chatting. We'd love a couple of you.
You would?
Oh,
I'm driving, but I want to say it's amazing. It's exactly, this is it. It's mindset. Everything that we do is mindset. I think you guys said it all. And change the way you think, and things you look at will change. And it's all about how you wake up every day and the habits you have. So I think this is awesome. Everyone needs to get set with their habits and their minds. How you are in your mind show up everywhere else.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
that.
Lisa.
Yeah, real estate is really the last thing on our job description when you think about it,
Truly.
It all starts up here.
I want to say thank you so much. This has been really helpful.
Oh, awesome.
good.
And your honesty is awesome.
That's really the
Yeah.
brainchild of this was just,
Yes.
To be honest, we wanted to open up that real peek behind the curtain. We really talked about, we're like, are we ready? Are we ready for everyone to
Yeah.
see the disaster that we are behind the space? So we thought it was just really important because everyone's having those days. And everyone has those days.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it too.
Take
I just
that.
wanted to.
I also wanted to just say something. Even though Dakota and I just did a deal together not too long ago, and I'm an elite group, not in your office, but I was really excited to join on this call, Dakota, because although we never met and we did a transaction together, you could feel your mindset over the phone and over the email, and that's really what it's about. And I wanted to kind of join this call to learn from you, but I just wanted to tell you that you exude that, and your team is lucky to be on your team.
I appreciate it.
We're very lucky to have her.
You were awesome to work with too. Thank you. That was, we went above and beyond for our clients on that one for sure.
Yeah, and speaking of fear, this is the deal that I had to relocate somebody from a different country, and I had to fly out the last minute because they weren't taking the power of attorney, and it was definitely one of those crazy deals. But I gotta say, your mindset, you exude that.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a miracle. You hate it when those attorneys say, wow, I've never seen anything like this in the 30 years I've been doing it. It's like, of course you haven't. Nope, of course not. Glad to be your first.
I have to say, there's one more thing. I think you guys, one thing that Dakota, you do that everybody needs to get more, it's taking action. So everybody's learning, sitting on Zoom, but if you don't take action, your mind's not going to change. You can just watch everybody else and sit back and learn, but what's that knowledge going to do? It's not going to get you anywhere. So if you look at Dakota, you look at Kat, it's all about action, and the action will give you confidence, and you will be competent, and you'll get your deals done. So action, I think, is really, we can't just be sitting on Zoom. You guys all have to take action, but it's comfort zone.
Yeah.
So if you look at Dakota, she never stops.
Sometimes I dress up like a pickle. I mean, whatever. You got to do what you got to do.
Hey, Dakota.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Good. Today's my 10-year anniversary with Keller Williams, and I just wanted to thank you for reviewing my life. I had the same rough starts as you guys all had. I had come out of a completely different industry and kind of had to learn the ropes on my own and work through it. But now I'm kind of confident and finding my way. But I really enjoyed the Zoom here and the class. It's it's very encouraging. I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing, and like the other lady said there, the honesty is coming through on it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Margaret?
Me, this one?
Yes, you.
It's Margaret.
Something over.
Yeah, I know. There's so many things going through my head. So I thank you guys for sharing everything. That's the first thing. And I love the part about, just being a friend, because I do, I still feel like I'm a new one, but I'm always learning. So I've recently, well, since at the beginning of March for my survival, and I guess I've helped others, I started to do TikTok videos and just make people laugh. So now I'm trying to transition into, okay, let's do real estate videos. And, I've done my first 2, I posted them, but on the second one I did, it was about buyers. And I had said, oh, it's a great, this is a good time to buy. So I didn't go into detail because I'm trying to keep it to a minute to get everybody's, keep everybody's attention. And somebody said, he goes, it is. And so that's the first, and it's not a negative comment, but it was like a challenging one. I thought I fell on the floor. I said, oh, what? And I'm like, do I know? I don't know. Why is it a good time to buy? Oh my, and all that started going through my head and all that negativity, and which was silly, but it's all still up there. And it's like this voice has to really come through and say, and swat it away and say, calm down, think about it, and then get back on there and make another video and explain.
But
So,
if you want, on my Facebook page, or if you want to send me your information, we did that because of all these conversations we're having, the same conversations every single day. I did this whole like real estate agents say the darndest things, because I'm on the phone from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. I'm having the same 12 conversations. It's just with different people. And so it's almost not even like a script. It's just, because you're gonna start seeing the same objections or have to give the same answers. So we put some tips on that one.
Yeah, and like in that situation, I would look at that situation as like, oh, he's a friend who's curious. I now's my chance to educate him, and show him that I care about what he's thinking, and so he might actually have a better idea what's going on in the market. Maybe he's interested in buying. He's hearing all of the commotion that's coming from the news or other people, and it's so easy to get caught up in that. So that's the perfect time, just like, oh, a friend's asking. It's my job to educate them right now.
And by the way, the answer to that is because the interest rates are so low, you're paying yourself more each month instead of the bank. It's the monthly payment that's down. The interest rate goes up, doesn't matter if the prices come down. He cares, unless he's a cash buyer, he cares about the monthly payment. So those are the kind of things you want to hit him with.
okay. Well, thank you. I'll be checking that out. Did you say that? Well,
Realtors say that the darndest things.
and that's on your face. I'm broke up.
Oh, realtors say the darndest things.
Realtors say the things.
The darndest things. Yep. You can shoot me your email, or it's on my Facebook page if you scroll down. And I know it's on our office YouTube page too.
Yeah.
But I can get you the link.
We can either get you the link, or we can tag you on the video just so you can find it easily.
Perfect. Okay. Send you my information.
Yes.
My email is
Sorry, it's breaking up.
kw.com.
Again?
My email is dakota@kw.com.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Did anyone else have any like
Thank
aha
you.
moments? Of course. Any other aha moments or anything, takeaways or anything that someone had?
I just wanted to say, I like the part about the friendship, making friends, because that takes the fear out of it for me. So thanks, it was great. Thank you.
So would you mind going over again about the index cards and how you use those?
Yeah, so basically what happens is we had, again, we don't need them as much in this market because everything flies off in 48 hours. But, if we had a property that's been sitting and it's just, for whatever reason, it's not selling, and, and we're doing everything we can and pricing it and all that, literally my mom will she writes that address on it and she writes sold, and then sticks it right where I can see it on the wall in front of me. So I'm looking at that address and it says sold. And sure enough, it's always
It works every time. I don't understand it.
Kat actually had one where she needed her buyers to find a house, as we're all in. So maybe try something like this. This worked. She cut out actually a house and cut out pictures of her clients and put it on the house. And sure enough, aren't they under agreement?
Yeah, we wrote their name. I put it there, and I actually found them a perfect expired house, and now they're good to go. So it's just, and I mean, that was 7 months 7 months with them, not being able to get anything. They were FHA buyers. They only had a little extra to go above. So, you know, we're just kind of sunk, and it was just the, you know, the rabbit chase, basically. I said, all right, I'm going to change something up. I even told them about it. They're like, you're weird, but that's cool. And within a week.
I had the deviest of downer sellers. What's wrong with my house? My house won't sell. My house won't sell. My house won't sell. I'm like, well, you're not making this easy. I finally was like, you know what? It had been a couple months. I took a picture of one of my sold riders. I sent it to her. I go, I want you to print that out, and I want to print out this picture of your house on MLS and put them together. And she did that like on a Tuesday, and I did an open house, I think, and 2 parties came through, and they were both interested, and they actually bid against each other, and we sold it after that weekend.
Mm.
And the examples are, and a lot of these examples are probably there, but you're just not, you know, you're not in tune to it yet. So that's why it's again, it's just a lot of just it's muscle memory. You know, we have to take these are 2,000-year-old brains that don't know what to do because there's no wildebeest to save us from anymore. So they're just screwing with us.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Great. Well, guys, we can't thank you enough. This was awesome. You know, we took this really serious. We worked really hard just because we thought it was really important. And, you know, we want you guys to know, like, you know, I don't know what it looks like on the outside looking in, but it's the same. We're just the same as all you
people,
guys,
just
you
trying to
know?
figure it out.
So really thanks for coming out, and, you know, maybe we'll do something like this again down the road.
Yeah, I mean, and feel free, like, I know like with COVID, everything's a little tougher, but we're in the office every day. So if you're having a bad day or you're really struggling with something, or if you have a deal that just isn't working right now, come in and ask us. Like, we're so happy to have people stop by, say hello, introduce themselves, and say, I'm dealing with this. Do you have, you know, any insight, or how would you do it? Because we have to do it all the time. We have to brainstorm all the time to figure out what we're going to do or how we're going to change that. So we're more than happy to just help you get get through your funk or anything like that.
We've probably been there.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, everybody.
Thank you
Janice,
so
thanks
much.
for sharing, and everybody else. And if you guys ever need us, just reach out, and hopefully we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you so much, really.
Great class.
Appreciate it.
Bye, guys. Uh-huh. Yeah, but I want to, we're gonna lose our phone number. Thanks, Janice.
Thank you, Janice.
You're mute. We'll come see you in a second.